What is up, everyone around the world, boxing fans around the world, Fight Hype family? Is your man Sean Zittel checking in once again from the high tech, the high production value Las Vegas headquarters of FightHype.com. Here back at the office, set for a big fight week to kick off tomorrow at the MGM Grand. I'll be there live with my man Ron Goodall holding it down for FightHype.com, and we'll be live at David Benavidez and Caleb Plant's media workouts tomorrow, public workouts for the big fight Saturday night. March 25th, Showtime pay-per-view, Plant Benavidez for the interim WBC super middleweight title. Good undercard, too, which is a little rare in today's boxing to have a strong undercard on the pay-per-view. Usually all the budget is allocated to the main event, so there's not that much left for the undercard, but this is a good card from top to bottom for the four main pay-per-view fights. So I'm just hyped and ready to get going, and I got a little fight breakdown, a little fight preview for you of Benavidez Plant, and and I'm just going to let some people work their way into the chat before we get started here. What's up to my man Jeremiah saying, yo, early. Good to see you, Jeremiah. Here and early on this beautiful Tuesday morning, early in this Plant Benavidez fight week. Or Benavidez Plant. I don't know who we technically have to consider the A side. But we will begin with the official pregame music. All right, Plant Benavidez, a grudge match. Really 6 years in the making, at least 5.5 years in the making since Benavidez beat Ronald Gavril and then was pulled up on ringside by Caleb Plant, who wanted that fight, initiated a stare down and whatnot. Benavidez couldn't keep that WBC belt long, got stripped because of a cocaine substance, testing positive for cocaine. He winds up winning the WBC title a second time in 2019 against Anthony Durrell. At that point, a possible unification was on the table, but Benavidez in the bubble, unable to continue to make weight at 168. All right, and that does it for the pregame music. I had to do it. But Benavidez unable to make 168 and was stripped of the title on the scales, but he remains the youngest, on paper, the youngest super middleweight world champion in boxing history when he beat Gavril at 21 years old. That unification never took place, but better late than never. And really, it's not late because both guys are in their physical primes. Caleb at 30, showed he's still at his peak against Anthony Durrell, and David Benavidez at 26 is really entering his prime now. Wasn't even in his prime when he became world champion at 168. So, again, just gonna let a few more people go into the chat, and then we gotta look down. I'm gonna be the fake ass Al Bernstein. I got some 3 tips to victory for both fighters. We're gonna go over here in just a minute. Marco Farfan 2 says Benavidez by technical knockout, but I want Plant to beat him. Why do you want Plant to beat him, Marco? I see a lot of people rooting for Caleb Plant in this fight as if Benavidez is the bad guy, and I don't see it that way. Benavidez is actually very humble, nice man, family man, and is just a killer in the ring and doesn't like Caleb Plant. But I see a lot of people not only picking Caleb Plant, but rooting for Caleb Plant. If this were wrestling, he's kind of the babyface for heading into this fight. J7 said, yo, Sean, good afternoon from Washington State. Good afternoon to you, J7. Good to see you, brother. Silver Stress Aloma. My bad, man. That's a tough name to say. 50-50 fight. Both can win. Star Wars Monkey, what's up, brother? Good to see you in the chat. And let's get started with some fight keys here. So this is me being the fake-ass Al Bernstein with some tips for both. Star Wars Monkey says, yo, Sean from Northern Ireland. Shout out to Northern Ireland and all the people out there. It's a good day. St. Patty's Day was last week, wasn't it? But, so real quick, let me get going with these fight tips. So for Caleb Plant, be first with the jab. Both guys have a great jab, but if you're Plant, you want to be first with it. And work levels with it. Stab to the body. They both have great jabs. Benavidez has a better power jab. Plant is better at working his levels with it, stabbing to the body like Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather, 2 guys he's looked up to and studied extensively. That's what they do. Benavidez will stab you to the body with his power jab too, but it's more doubling it up, tripling it up top. Plant is working his levels with it up and down, and he knows how to stab to the body, and that's going to be key. Be first with the jab and dictate off of it. Tip number 2. Keep the fight in the center of the ring. And the ropes are hot in this fight if you're Plant. Stay off the ropes. Keep the fight in the center of the ring. Be first with that jab to dictate. And then lastly, you reach, I teach. We hear about that in basketball, but in boxing, When Benavidez will reach, because he's anxious to get his offense going, he will reach in the center of the ring. And when he reaches, that's where Plant can counterpunch him. You reach, I teach with counters. For Benavidez, match the jab of Plant. When Plant is forcing the fight in the center of the ring and he's getting off with the jab, match the jab of Plant, because Benavidez has a great jab too. And when they trade jabs, if Benavidez can continue, because you jab with the jabber, you don't hook with the hooker too much in boxing, that'll get you knocked out. Although, funny enough, both of their best punches is probably the left hook. David has more of a complete offensive arsenal, but both of their money shots is the left hook. But for Benavidez, match the jab of Plant in the center of the ring. Don't just let Plant dictate off with the jab to the body, to the head, and you're just here trying to catch, and push him to the ropes. In the center of the ring, you can't just be handcuffed if you're Benavidez and keep looking to drive him to the ropes. Indeed, drive him to the ropes, and that'll be, step number 2. But in the center of the ring, when Plant, especially early in the fight, when Plant is forcing the fight in the center of the ring, match the jab. Because when they trade jabs, David's is heavier, and it'll knock Plant back more than the other way around, I believe. I do believe Benavidez has the heavier jab, and it'll be important that he matches the jab of Caleb in the center of the ring. Be murder on the ropes. David Benavidez, Naoya Inoue, these are some of the guys that come to mind that are the best of the best when they get you on the ropes. Benavidez is murder on the ropes, and he'll even, and we'll go over this in a video too, how a lot of people say he squares himself up, but he'll square himself up the closer he gets you to the ropes so he can unload more and more combinations. And I didn't realize until rewatching a lot of David's fights this week how much he turns southpaw on the ropes to set up that power left hand. He is murder on the ropes, and that's a key for him in this fight. And then lastly for David, push the pace. Make it a fight. Now that's a little bit of a fine line there because he likes to reach in the center of the ring to get his offense going, and you reach, I teach for Caleb, right? But for David, you want to push the pace. You want to push the pace because here I'll even go over why right here. Here we go. That was the unofficial theme music, by the way. But for Benavidez Plant, and here we'll take a look here at the Compubox numbers. David Benavidez, we're better off here. David Benavidez averages 67 punches thrown around. Plant just 46. Plant will average 15 punches landed around. David will land 25 and a half, almost 26. 38% connect percentage for Benavidez to just 32% for Plant. And then the jab, Benavidez is tracked as one of the top 5 jabbers pound for pound in boxing. 7 out of 26 to 5 out of 22 for Plant. And then the power shots, 19 out of 41 to 9 out of 24. So Benavidez, a lot more active and even more accurate while being more active. And he will want to push that pace in this fight. Because if the slower the pace, the more that favors Plant. The more of a fight it is, and the more the pace is pushed, and there's exchanges, and I think that favors Benavidez. And now we'll take a look here at some other factors. So size, Benavidez; speed, Benavidez; IQ, experience, and footwork, Plant; youth and power, Benavidez. Defense, I didn't score defense yet. I think a lot of people would assume Plant is the better defender, but Benavidez, since getting dropped by Gavril at 21 years old, or may have even been 20 years old that night. I think he was. Benavidez, ever since then, hasn't really taken any punishment. I mean, he got his face marked up a little bit. He got touched up against Anthony Durrell. He did. And then Kyron Davis hit him with a couple of shots. But for the most part, Benavidez, and this is where I get to at the bottom, is Benavidez underrated? Speed and skills. Everyone talks about the big, plodding, powerful Mexican monster, but I think he has a little bit more life in his feet, a little bit more life in his upper body movement, and I think he's more skilled than people give credit for. And then for Plant, one of the big questions is, can Plant sharpshoot and make David reset repeatedly, ruin the rhythm of his combinations, like Mayweather did to Pacquiao, where outside of those 2 bursts from Pacquiao in rounds 4 and 6, every time Pacquiao tried to make something happen, tried to step in and get Mayweather to the ropes and unload that combination of speed, power, and combination punching like Benavidez likes to do when he gets you to the ropes, Floyd would sharpshoot and make him reset. It'd either be with a check hook, or he'd place the jab, or he'd put the straight right hand on him, and that would force Pacquiao to reset. And that's exactly what Plant's got to look to do with Benavidez. And those are the guys he studied, growing up as a fighter. So I'm sure him and Breadman Edwards, Breadman, who is an X factor in this fight, will be looking for that. Let me see some people in the chat for a second before we keep moving. His boxing skills are very underrated, says J7, I believe, talking about Benavidez. Do people forget how humble Caleb was to Canelo? Yeah, J7 again saying people are underestimating Benavidez's boxing skills. I agree. David C says, I got Benavidez winning by decision. The Entrep man says Plant by decision or red flag by stoppage. King Omega says, FightHype was good, bro. Appreciate the info and all the work you put in. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. So yeah, there's a couple quick keys to victory there. And then let's also get... And there was the Compubox breakdown that does favor Benavidez, and I am favoring Benavidez to win this fight, but I do understand and visualize the way that Plant wins the fight. It's with the things I've said, by sharpshooting, by being first with the jab, by counterpunching Benavidez in the center of the ring when Benavidez reaches, and making David reset and not letting David get his punch output up, and forcing the pace of the fight to slow down a little bit from being sharp, from being first, and from countering at times too, and from keeping the fight in the center of the ring. So let's take a look at a lot of people talk about how much David squares up, and he touched on that here. Ryan Hong says, Sean, what's your picks for the undercard fights? I love my man Joey Spencer. I gotta edge it a little bit to Jesus Ramos in the co-main event. Cody Crowley, Abel Ramos is going to be a war, because Cody Crowley, he's this Canadian guy that loves to meet these Mexican fighters head on. I give the edge to Crowley. He's big. He's a big welterweight. He's really a 154 that gets down to welterweight. He's a little fresher, less miles on his tires than Abel Ramos, but I could see Ramos and I could see Spencer winning those fights. And then Colbert, Valenzuela. Valenzuela is actually a big underdog in that fight. And Colbert is so much faster than him and has great skills when he's on, but I actually give the edge to Valenzuela a little bit, maybe. Colbert, as fast as he is, didn't show a great defense in that last fight, and if he gets caught by the power of Rayo consistently, I don't think he'll hold up to the power for 12 rounds. Rayo, on the other hand, he got stopped his last fight, but that was against a puncher. Colbert's not a puncher. We'll see. But let's check this out. Everyone talks about Benavidez and the fact that he squares his feet up a lot, but he touched on this here, so I want you guys to check this out.
Squared up. Like, look at, I throw combinations just like that. That's how you throw speed, bro, and he already knows that. So that's why when I sometimes square up, I throw so much fucking speed from here, because you plant yourself and you throw a lot. You know what I mean? But now he has the same type of speed too, bro.
So there's a time and a place to square up. Because Tank knocked out Santa Cruz squared up.
Yeah, and then you see...
Right. And maybe I'm dick riding a little bit there, so you guys could roast me, but that is true. I mean, Tank, I remember actually, funny enough, watching Tank Davis spar and J-Rock, Julian Williams, the former unified 154-pound champ, and Caleb Plant were there watching. And Tank was squaring up a little bit in the sparring sessions, and I remember asking Caleb and J-Rock, they were sitting there at Floyd's gym, hey, is that okay that he squares up like that? Is he supposed to be doing that? And they explained to me, yeah, it's okay. He knows what he's doing, kind of like David was right here. And sure enough, Tank knocked out Santa Cruz squared up off the left uppercut when he had Santa Cruz near the ropes. And that's when David likes to square up the most, is when he gets you to the ropes. And he's explaining why here.
Travis, how Travis used to fight. When you get him on the corners, he closes the distance, or he close the ring like this, and then he go to the body. You know what I mean? So people would like to talk about stuff that they don't understand because they don't try it themselves.
Right.
But it's working for me. I've fucking hurt everybody in the ring. I know what I'm doing. Step doing
Good explanation by David, but he is an offensive monster. I think Saturday night he's going to show he's one of the most offensively gifted fighters in the sport. But when you are offense first, that can be taken advantage of by a smart fighter like Plant. So we'll have to see.
Right. I already got dibs on the interview.
So I like that explanation. And then for Plant, like I said, center of the ring, being first. And let's see Plant here for his media day. Shout out to my man Ron Goodall out here in Vegas with me, who was shooting this while I was in Seattle shooting David. So yeah, we were two places at once that day. Malcolm Emanuel, great to see you in the chat, Malcolm Emanuel, my man. Shout out. Chris Wilkes says, in my opinion, the contrast in styles make this a true 50-50 fight. Odds should be much closer. Chris Wilkes, a lot of people in boxing feel the way you feel. I disagree. I think Benavidez is the deserved favorite. It's just a lot. If this man right here, Caleb Plant, can pull this off Saturday night, I give him all the credit in the world, because I do think he's going up against a Mexican monster. The combination of size, speed, power, combination punching, and he's underrated skills-wise and on defense a little bit, I think, David. If Caleb pulls this off, it is an upset in my mind, and it's a tremendous accomplishment for Benavidez, or for Plant, even though it's not technically, it's for an interim title, but it's not really for the full world title. But this would be incredible stuff by Plant if he pulls this off. They're listed at 6 feet and 6'1", but David's really 6'2". He's a bigger man than Caleb Plant. But Plant here was showing us what he's going to need to do on fight night. Center of the ring and being sharp, razor sharp.
Not in the mother. I'm saying it, baby. I just said it. In your motherfucking asshole.
Malcolm Emanuel saying, I love Benavidez. I expect him to win, but I do have that fear of him losing in Teofimo fashion. Well, there is some bandera rojas heading into the fight. He has been a little overconfident, a little too angry, and a little too dismissive of his opponent. And you do get the sense from Jose Sr. that if this fight gets away from them, he'll be crying, they fucking ran from us all night. They fucking ran from us all night. So don't get me wrong. I'm picking Benavidez, and I think Benavidez is going to show out Saturday night as the fight progresses and as he breaks Plant down. I think he's going to show he's one of the most, spectacular fighters on offense in the sport. But I'm not counting Plant out. I could see Plant sharpshooting and winning winning this fight as an underdog. But
they will never get
right there. See how immediately he went upstairs, downstairs with his jab? That's going to be so important in this fight. Playing some Corrupt right here. Let me mute that, because we're not trying to lose copyright off Corrupt. I love Corrupt, but I love the DPG all day. Actually, Caleb plays a lot of dog pound now that I can recall. But that right there, that real estate, that center of the ring is where Plant wants to keep the fight. In contrast, when you see Benavidez, where was that video at? Here it is. In contrast, when you see Benavidez do some of his best offense.
He's straight right hand.
I feel like eating that pizza.
There's that jab of David. See how David doesn't work his levels with it as much, though? It's that double jab up top.
They can't say that. They can't
double
say
jab up
out
top.
On my face.
Power jab. His jab is more powerful than Plant's, but Plant knows how to work it upstairs and downstairs a little bit better than David does.
Cauliflower pizza, dog.
Damn, I'm good at this breakdown stuff. What I tell you guys at the beginning of the video, Plant stabs to the body, works up top with the jab. Benavidez is that power jab, that double jab up top, and immediately on the mitts, what's David throwing? The power double jab up top. And what's Caleb doing in shadow boxing for his first two punches? Here, we'll even recap. His first two punches, he's working the levels with the jab. So that's what I expect from these two guys on fight night. Let's see it again from Caleb. Okay, I actually threw his uppercuts first and a left hook, but once he starts his work in the center of the ring, you see him work his levels with his jab. Right, and right there you see maybe he's thinking of holding his ground more. See how he's trying to hold his positioning in the center of the ring there as Caleb Plant. And talking to David Benavidez and his dad, Jose, they actually feel like that can work against them. That adjustment by Breadman Edwards where he has Caleb sitting down on his punches more than ever, they actually feel like, in their words, that could get Caleb fucked up. Is him planting his feet more in the center of the ring to try to make you pay with his counters with more, emphasis on each shot. And they feel like that'll leave Plant a more stationary target, and that only works in Benavidez' favor. If you're Plant and Breadman, that's getting your respect in the center of the ring because you can't just run from this guy for 12 rounds or else you'll die the slow death. You'll fade later in the fight. So you got to get your respect in that ring, and Breadman has been talking about that a lot. And you see Caleb doing that in his shadow boxing a little bit, planting those feet in the center of the ring, still giving angles, still moving around the center of the ring, but when he fires, setting those feet more. Maybe it's a two-way street. Either that'll help him more, keep Benavidez, the bigger man, off of him, keep his respect, or that'll keep him more stationary and allow Benavidez to land with power. So it's a game where Plant, I'm sure, is ready to at times hold his ground, at times counter with bad intentions, and at other times step off, frustrate, let the crowd boo. And really, I'm sure with Plant, his mind, he'll fight the perfect fight is what he's working on with Breadman Edwards. And then for Benavidez, his game plan is like Mr. T in Rocky III, pain. Just wants to inflict as much pain, as much punishment on Plant as possible. There's that double jab. That jab's going to be so important for Benavidez in the center of the ring. Without that jab, and Benavidez has a great jab, underrated jab. Without that jab, he's in no man's land in the center of the ring, and too much moments of the fight could get away from him. So him using that jab in the center of the ring, I know he likes to get the most of his offense once he gets you to the ropes, but that jab in the center of the ring is going to be key when Caleb's forcing the fight in the middle of the ring. Beautiful work with his left hand there. See that little underrated shiftiness by Benavidez there, moving his head off the line, and the hand speed at that size. That's what I mean. I feel some people are underrating him. They feel like this is the slick boxer against the big puncher. And Benavidez, I think his reflexes, his hand speed, it's all being a little underrated heading into the fight.
¿Toca la derecha? No, yo toco.
There he is leaning forward with his chin kind of in front of his foot, though, and Plant can take advantage of that. But.
Right there. There you go. You might have one shot to see that gun. One shot to feel it. Look at that. There you go. Nice. March 25th.
Likes using that momentum, touching with that right hand to get momentum into the left hook. He'll do that with the uppercut, too. A lot of fighters love to shoot off those 4-3s these days. You shoot off that right uppercut, all that momentum, and bang, come back with the hook. Muhammad Ali was great at doing what David's trying to do right here along the ropes, which is he would throw Ali something. Now, his right hand was his best punch alongside his jab. Well, his jab was his best punch, and the straight right hand was the second best. But if you watch that third Thrilla Manila fight with Frazier, Ali knew his legs weren't what they were in the first fight to keep distance. So a lot of times against Frazier in that third fight, Ali would kind of decoy throw the right hand and then boom, snap back with the left hook. And that's what David's doing here. And this is where David has his best offense, is along the ropes. In the center of the ring, he'll have to jab with Plant so the fight doesn't get away from him. But this is really where he's going to look to punish Plant. And Plant was stopped on the ropes by Caleb as well.
Or
by Canelo.
We got 7 pounds of losing. We still got power like that right now. Imagine when I'm rehydrated. When I go up to 20 pounds.
No rehydration clause in this fight.
Yeah, David said, I still have power right now. Imagine when I really rehydrate. Because he said he was 7 pounds off from 168 here. And then he said he's going to rehydrate 20 pounds on fight night, around to 185. That's going to be a problem for Plant, man. This is where his best offense comes, along the ropes. And he'll switch southpaw when he has you on the ropes, too. It's a slight switch. It's not an exaggerate. He basically will square his feet up when he gets you on the ropes, And for a few moments there, he'll even put the right foot in front and be southpaw when he gets you on the ropes. See that little shift after he throws the punches, man. At times, he's quicker on defense than people give credit for. Let me shout out some people in the chat. J7, I say if they can make the weight, there should be no problem. D1 says Breadman might be the difference too. There's levels to coaching. I like Jose, but I'd go with Breadman all things considered. It's a great fucking fight. I can't wait. I agree that Breadman is the more cerebral, calculated coach than Benavidez's dad. Although Benavidez's dad is a good coach too, but he is in danger of being outcoached in this fight. But I still favor his son. But I do think Breadman's an X factor in this fight, and that's what Tim Bradley said in my interview with him a couple days ago. That Breadman's the X factor. Check out my interview with Breadman. Man, it was a great interview. If you guys, we got a lot of great content heading into this fight. So there's a lot of great interviews for you guys to catch up on. Johnny's Combat Talk and News. What's up, brother? T-Bone. What's up, brother? Caleb. Good to see Caleb in the chat. Mexican Silverback, how you doing, man? Good to see Electro Jed. Baby G Gamacho in the chat once again. Carlos Mondragon Villalobos, how you doing, my man? So here we go, back to this. And then, oh yeah. That's the murder right there. The Mexican. When he gets you on the ropes and you have nowhere to maneuver off in the second half of the fight, that's going to be a problem for Plant.
There you go. The Mexican.
That is firepower. That's offense. And I'll be honest, I got Morales and Barrera behind me, and the wall behind me. And part of why, if you sense a little, there they are right behind me. If you sense a little excitement for me as it pertains to David Benavidez, it's because I think he might bring something to boxing Saturday night that is always needed in boxing. And that is special offensive fighters. Inoue is one of them. And even guys like Tank and Canelo are offensive monsters. They're unlike David, they're a little more natural with their upper body movement. They're a little more well-rounded. But Benavidez, like those guys behind me, Morales, Barrera, Marquez, the Mexicans he's looked up to, they had insane offenses. Yeah, put them up against, certain fighters. They could be beat, even though the three I just mentioned, Morales, Barrera, Marquez, are three of the greatest fighters of all-time greats. But he's got a little bit of what they have, I think, and will show to the boxing world Saturday night, and that is a true, exciting offensive arsenal. Uppercuts, right hands, left hooks, can counter, can lead, likes to fight, likes to exchange, invites the exchange, is at his best in the exchange. And I think that's what Benavidez is going to bring to the boxing world Saturday night, and that's why I'm a little giddy to see how he performs. Now, if Plant upsets him, I got to give all the credit in the world to Plant, because I'm one of the people, although a lot of media seem to be wanting to pick Plant, a lot of fighters seem to want to pick Plant, a lot of fans seem to want to pick Plant, despite Las Vegas having Benavidez the significant favorite. But I'm a little giddy at the prospects of David's talents offensively and the kind of shows he can put on in big fights, big opportunities for boxing fans. So if I'm ready to give Plant his flowers, if he keeps that fight in the center of the ring, sharpshoots David to death, reminds us that monsters are only real in fairy tales and not in real life, as Andre Ward, a guy he looked up to, once said about Sergey Kovalev, a bigger puncher that he outboxed. But I have a feeling Benavidez is going to show us something that's always exciting in boxing. A great offensive fighter. Hand speed, power, size, combinations. And so that's what I'm excited for. May the best man win, of course. But that, yeah. Which fight is that with Winky right behind me? That's from the night he beat Mosley, I believe, in the first fight or the rematch. That's from one of the 2 Mosley fights, that photo. So, probably we'll have your commentary blaring, watching the bout. Always solid. Good to see you, Marvelous Irv. Thank you, man. I can't wait to commentate this fight. And we talked about the odds. Let's take a look here at the odds. Plant is plus 700 underdog to win by knockout. That's incredible. I mean, you can win some serious money. Benavidez only minus 120 to win by knockout. So Vegas really thinks there's a strong chance this goes the distance. I believe the over-under is 9.5 rounds. If you're a betting man, I might be tempted to take David at plus odds at under 9.5 rounds. Benavidez is... so let's see here. Well, no, Benavidez is plus 330 to win by decision, and then Plant is plus 400. Let's see. So, but ultimately the main odds are Plant is plus 230 and Benavidez is minus 280. And I've seen those odds in Las Vegas go up a little bit to Benavidez over minus 300. So Vegas feels Benavidez will win the fight, and I agree with Vegas. Vegas usually gets it right, but we'll see. Let's take a look at Plant one more time here as well. And actually, well, let's go over Plant when he hit the pads as opposed to just his shadow boxing, and just take a look at how he was looking. Got to go down. We got a lot of videos here, so it takes me a minute to get to the Plant content that we had. Here we go. Here we go. And he looked very sharp at moments. And again, there he is sitting down on the shot. There he is sitting on the shot like he did when he knocked out Darrell. Will that leave him very sharp? Great technique and form by Caleb. That's one of the things that's always stood out about him to me, is the technique and form is so clean. Very, very sharp fighter. But you see him planting his feet, getting those hips into each shot. Will that work? Will that keep Benavidez off of him, or will that, keep him a little more planted, no pun intended, for Benavidez to exchange in those moments? Probably a smart move on Breadman's part, because he has to get David's respect in there. If David feels his power and it's nothing, and he could just walk through it, that's a wrap for Caleb. But if Caleb early in the fight can get his respect with the pop in his punches, then we got to fight. Straight right hand. That's a big factor in this fight. Can Caleb make better use of his right hand? Caleb, when he knocked down Uzcategui twice, it was on the left hook. When he knocked out Anthony Darrell, left hook. His best punch is his left hook, but in this fight, like in the Canelo fight, it's tough to get that hook off with a great Mexican. Canelo was a great Mexican. Benavidez got a lot to prove. But with a Mexican that's got a great left hook, like Benavidez might, and you saw Plant wasn't as willing to let go of that shot against Canelo for that reason. He'll need his right hand to be working better for him. That's the punch that's better against a guy like Benavidez, is the right hand. He's never really hurt anybody with his right hand. He said early in his career he was hurting guys with the right hand, getting knockouts with the right hand. Let's see if Breadman makes him more of a two-fisted fighter, because Plant, he tends to be one of these guys. Jab, hook, uppercut, jab, that, like that, before he'll let that right hand go. And it's throwing a straight right hand. Roy Jones said when he got inducted into the Nevada Hall of Fame that it's oddly very hard to master throwing a straight right hand. He said he had an easier time mastering the hook, all these other shots. And if Caleb has that straight right hand against David, that's a big asset. But if he's still relying on a majority of his shots coming from the left hand, that's not good. Red said Sean rocking the 2011 Bieber cut. I guess you're right. I gotta take that L. That is the haircut I'm rocking. Caleb was cooking Canelo, and let's be honest, Canelo, wait, where was that? Anyway, I didn't get to read the rest of that comment for some reason. Went out of here, saying that Canelo was cooking David. Caleb was cooking Canelo. That's bogus. No, he wasn't. He was losing that fight. He was getting walked from pillar to post and getting broken down. Did he win some rounds in the midst of that? Yeah, a couple. But that fight wasn't that competitive. That fight had an inevitable, tone to it from the outset. You knew from the first 2 rounds that Canelo was on his way to stopping him at some point in the fight. And yeah, I disagree with that. Actually, I felt like so many people thought Plant was going to get blown out in that fight that they gave him credit for being somewhat competitive in those 11 rounds. And I expected him to be competitive, so I didn't give him as much credit after the Canelo fight because I knew he was a good champion fighter. And I knew he'd give Canelo, some competition. And actually, I thought he'd do a little bit better than he did against Canelo. But that was just me. Caleb was not slightly ahead, Toby Matana. He was not landing the better punches. It was not 6-5 either way. None of the judges had it that way. And I know it's Canelo, it's Vegas, so of course the judges had Canelo way up. No, the judges had Canelo way up because he was up. I mean, he was landing the harder shots from the first round. He was walking Caleb back, getting him to the ropes. 2-piece to the body was all night long. His defense was very good, Canelo. He was slipping, making him miss and fall short and catching and parrying a lot of the punches. Canelo was up, either 8-3, 7-4 at the worst. 8-3 or 9-2. I don't think he was right there, D1. All due respect, my friend. I don't think so, man. I think Amir Khan was doing better against Canelo before he got knocked out than Caleb Plant was doing. And right there, who said that in the chat? Someone said Caleb has a weak right hand. There is some data to support that. But right here against Breadman, I like that straight right hand. I like it. Let's see it again. I like that. I like that straight right hand. Brotherhood Sports says, Sean, you shooting Canelo way too much bail. I mean, I just think Canelo was in control of that fight from the first round, and I knew he was going to stop him from the first or second round. You can go back and watch my live round by round where I said that night at the fight at the MGM. That's just me calling it like I see it, D1 says he's just a cheat, bro. Oh, is that what this is about, D1? Is the clenbuterol and all the next? Hey, I don't got too much to say in counter to that. I will say, professional sports, man, these guys might all be quote-unquote cheating. Is it cheating if they're all doing it? But, no, I do think Canelo, like Pacquiao back in the day, suspect, in the way in which he moved up weights and was so punishing against naturally bigger men. But outside of the drug test, there's we can say the same thing about Roy Jones and Manny Pacquiao and Evander Holyfield and Sugar Shane Mosley. We don't know what these guys are on or aren't on, but I get where you're coming from now, D1. Canelo is a great fighter in my eyes, in every period. But just keeping it fair here, reading your comments, and we got over 200 people in the chat now. It started slow, but we got some people in here now. Yo, Sean, can I get a Yahoo? No, I like Canelo. He just got caught. I hear you, brother. Modern Czar says he was exonerated, Sean. Yeah, that's why you don't hear me, dragging his name through the mud or nothing. I said he's a great fighter, but And hell, even Floyd Mayweather had those high testosterone levels heading into the Pacquiao fight. This is professional sports, man. I don't put nothing past none of these guys. My man David Benavidez got Memo Heredia in his camp. Caleb Plant has worked with Snack and Victor Conti. We don't know. You're watching Plant there. There's no significant advantage, if at all, in speed. If anything, Benavidez might be a touch faster. And Plant isn't going all out here. He is taking it more easy on the mitts than David was. But let's compare here. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 2. More speed and more power on the Benavidez side. That can be countered with smarts and with timing. But you see it there. Yeah, not as much pop on those shots by Plant. Good hand speed though, as expected. Is his upper body more fluid than David's? We know his feet are better than David's, but David was moving that upper body a little bit in between combinations, and we're not seeing Caleb do that as much. Caleb, with those smart feet, he'll use those feet a lot of times to just get out of range to make you miss a shot. And he does have head movement, but here we're not seeing it as much on the mitts as when David was showing it. He is being a little stiffer in the upper body than Benavidez was. Good hand speed there by Plant, ripping those uppercuts. But how much will we really see him run off multiple uppercuts in the center of the ring against Benavidez? I think Plant isn't going to be that much of the combination puncher because that opens you up for the exchange. Plant's going to be looking to pop shot and be the sharpshooter, whereas Benavidez will be looking to be the combination puncher. But you never know. We never know in these big fights. We could get Plant to surprise people like me with that. Blaze 1 says Canelo beats Benavidez with a body shot. I do think David early in that fight, especially when Canelo's fresh in the first 6 rounds, he'd be in danger of Canelo getting in close on him and stopping him to the body. But if Canelo can't get David out of there in 5 or 6 rounds, David has a great cardio and throws a lot of... I remember Breadman in the Kyron Davis telling Kyron Davis he just shot his load. He just shot his load after the 4th round. Well, pause. David had 4 or 5 more loads to shoot off before the fight was over. I mean, he had one for round 5, 6, 7 and until the fight was stopped. So if Canelo didn't stop David in the first 5 or 6 with a body shot, that fight could get away from Canelo from the activity and the constant work rate of Benavidez. So if Benavidez wins that fight, and if Canelo either loses but is more competitive with Bivol in the first fight, or if he somehow beats Bivol in the second fight, I think Canelo and Benavidez is maybe the best fight to make in boxing, and it could be the first fight that we have out here in Las Vegas that could sell out where the Raiders play, Allegiant Stadium. I got a super chat to go to. Raider Reaper said, been seeing the debate that Rodriguez is the most dominant name in worldwide sports history, the most champions, boxing, UFC, soccer, NFL, MLB, and soon NBA. Rodriguez is the most dominant. Just period. The name Rodriguez and Alex Rodriguez. In football, what Rodriguez's we got in football? Baseball, I know there's more than just A-Rod. NBA, I don't know, man. Raider Reaper, thank you for the super chat, but drop some names of famous Rodriguez's in sports, because off top, the only thing that's really coming up is like A-Rod. Inca Sports says, Sean, what do you think of the Undisputed game? I think I'll be playing it to end this stream, for one. But no, I think Undisputed is live. It's dope. I'm having a fun time with it. Still a work in progress. Still got to work some of the things out. The last patch they brought to the game nerfed defense a little bit, made it a little too easy to land punches. I liked the patch before where all you could do now is back up, straight back up, do the back weave. You can't make guys miss off to the side to side head movement as much now. So I'd like them to take away some of the nerfs on defense they had in that last patch. But I'm enjoying it. I might play it to end this shit. Stecky saying, do I agree with Benavidez saying he would knock out Bivol? I don't think he'd knock him out, but I think he could beat him. I think Benavidez has the size, the speed, and the power to move up to 75. I think he has the ability, the potential to beat anybody at 68 to 75, but it starts this Saturday before people like me say such bold things like that. Let's see how he looks in his first real world-class fight against a guy in his prime in Caleb Plant. But I think he's got the size, the speed, the power to fight and beat anybody from 168 to 175. Bivol, Beterbiev, Canelo Alvarez, but it starts Saturday. We'll see if I look foolish for saying that. How come no one's asking about the ESPN stuff? ESPN, Richard Comey, Jose Ramirez, that's not a very intriguing fight. Comey's past it. He was a lightweight who's past it, going up to 140. Ramirez should win that fight. Sinisa Estrada might be the more interesting fight in the co-main event. She's unifying. Esau Garcia said, how are you saying that when his resume is nothing but cans? All their resumes are nothing but cans at one point, although at 26 years old it should be better. I do think that's partly the business of boxing doing that to him. But you're right. I mean, the resume is severely lacking at 26. At 26, guys like Morales and Barrera were already legends. But the eye test has always stood out remarkably for me with Benavidez, especially on offense. Why did that pop? Oh yeah, this was just through the years. Whoops. This was just through the years. We literally on FightHype have like an hour and a half of footage of these guys over the years. Hold on. Most of these interviews being from your boy.
Okay, I was just making sure. And he was at my fight watching me, right?
He was at your fight.
He's doing that thing that I do when I impersonate him.
And who was I fighting? The boogeyman?
That's right.
As they said,
hey, last time I checked, Jose Uzcategui was the boogeyman. Okay then. Who did David fight? Ronald Gavril? He got dropped on a jab. Okay then.
Okay, before I fought. All right, I'm just making sure. So he's not a world champion, and he's not a mandatory. So, if he can keep his nose clean, right, then maybe matter of fact,
work at
him, he's not a fan of me, we don't have to be a fan of each other. So, someone who
no offer, so
he's not a fan of me, we don't have to be a fan of each other. So this is fighting. So, not to say that David's a bad fighter, because
that was again my interview from back in the day.
Does that fight need to happen next for you?
Oh wow, that's your boy from years ago. Your boy's been covering this goddamn fight for years.
That, who's not to say that he doesn't, a focused fighter with mental fortitude doesn't keep boxing him up. He's pretty simplistic in his style too, it's not like he does a lot of extravagant boxing moves or...
Disagree, Caleb, and that's what I think people are underestimating about Benavidez. They think he's just some big Mexican guy, and he said he don't really have a lot of nuances. I disagree. What he does offensively has a lot of skill.
It's discipline too, though.
For example, that stab to the body that Plant does so well, I wouldn't be surprised if by round 4 or 5, Benavidez begins to have the timing and the speed to shoot over the top with his right hand of that jab to the body.
Discipline.
We'll see.
That's a major key too. It plays a part. So who do you think's more disciplined?
I can't. You can put me on the spot. I can't say. I'm not around you. I know you are extremely disciplined.
I haven't lost my world title to cocaine.
This is true.
I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't blow up to 230 pounds.
Oof.
I don't start training when camp time starts.
Damn.
When the weight happened was Caleb.
This is me with David and Big Bear like 3 years ago. Damn, I'm not gonna lie. I'm being a little narcissistic here. I'm a little proud of how much I built this fucking fight up.
It's like your heated rival at this point in your guys' career.
Yeah, I really don't care what nobody says no more. That's the person. Honestly, I feel like
I remember visiting David for this camp, and he said something to me I'll never forget that made me say to myself, I like this fucking kid. He told me, he said, hey, bro, you know, if I wasn't boxing, I'd probably be doing what you're doing with a camera, trying to cover fighters and cover fights because I just love boxing so much. And then when David told me that, remember I said, I like this guy.
I would want Caleb Plant more than Canelo right now, but since he's more in...
So it's not my promoter. I have video, and you've seen the video of Samson saying, no, they don't need to fight yet. We're not going to let them fight yet. That fight needs to be built up. So hello after that, and then I'll get to him when I get to him. He's on my shit list, and I will get to him. But until then, he's going to have to wait off to the side like a good little boy because he didn't do what he was supposed to do again. He's going to have to wait. That's not how it works. Oh, man, but I want to see you fight. Well, I wanted to see the Titans in the second round of the playoffs too, but you know, they didn't. Unfortunately, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So what happened? They're gonna have to wait.
Speaking of Caleb Plant,
what else?
Sounds like Espinoza and Samson feel like it could really happen at the end of the year.
Me again, talking to him after he beat Darrell.
I think so. You know, I mean, what else is there to make happen at 160? I mean, we got...
Apparently there was a lot of things to make happen. All right?
BC, I mean, he's still ranked up there. I think he's ranked higher than David Lemieux, so they can make Charlo. I don't like trying to promote stuff.
What else? And then finally we get here to the pressers, to the fun stuff.
how do you refute some of
And now
He's already, every time he's in there with a power puncher, like Uzcategui, you know, he beat Uzcategui.
all the way up to actually being in Seattle last week. Here we
But
finally
he was
are.
hurt. When he got in there with Canelo hurt him. You know, even Anthony Darrell's catching him with some good shots, but Darrell, he's not a hitter like that. And then, so, you know, I have the power. You know, I feel like I'm faster, I'm stronger. But it's just that I got to put my feet in the position because he's going to definitely be moving a lot. But the good thing is that I think he has...
Inca Sports, come on. Take it easy on your boy. You might be a little right, though. I'm sorry.
He has a little bit more confidence because he knocked out Anthony Darrell, so we'll see if he wants to sit there and then trade with me. But like I said, this is pay-per-view.
Sonia Dumas, great to see you, Sonia. Always great to see you in the chats.
This is what the people want to see, and I'm willing to give them whatever they want to see. And this is the most confident I've ever been because this is the hardest I've ever worked. And I'm ready for whatever comes my way. You know, I've always known for myself. That's why I've been calling for these big fights because I know since I was a little kid when I was sparring world champions, you know, once people the champions would put me in a hard situation and kind of make.
I feel like that's something that I've been throughout not just my career, but my life. And, you know, showing the world that just because you may come from a certain place or look a certain way, that doesn't mean that you can't go out and accomplish, you know, big things, great things. And so I enjoy having that title above my name. And
shout out to Caleb Plant for somehow pulling off the white guy version of, you know, your skin color shouldn't hold you back from anything. It's amazing how he finessed that.
Then, you know, March 25th, the most underrated thing. I don't know. You have to tune in March 25th. We'll get to find out for sure.
style-wise, if you could.
One thing about Plant, and really all fighters on this level that I do admire about them, is the sacrifice and the hard work and the courage they've had to use in their careers to get where they are. Doesn't always mean they're going to be a great guy, but it does mean they carry with them a certain wisdom that comes from all that work they've put in, all that sacrifice and courage they've had. And kind of with every fighter I talk to, regardless, of background, they all carry with them some of that wisdom from their experiences in life and what they've done to become the man or the woman they are to that point. And so Plant has that,
Compare Benavidez to Canelo. Who would you say is the more complete fighter?
I'd say that Canelo is a more complete fighter. He's a legendary fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. He's fought a lot of different styles, and he's a great fighter.
Any thoughts? Speaking of the two Mexican fighters, any thoughts on the Mexicans for Plant kind of phrase that's going around social media? And have you seen it?
There's been a lot of it. Raza for Plant. Mexicans for Plant. So definitely feeling a lot of the Latino love. Definitely.
I feel like that love I'm seeing from Latinos for Plant or Mexicans for Plant, it comes from loyalty to Canelo Alvarez, I feel like. And I feel like Benavidez, Sonia Dumas, my homegirl here in the chat, I believe Sonia's Mexican-American. She seems to be like, you got to win me over. David. Just because Mike Tyson gave you this nickname, just because you had a 20-punch knockout against Rogelio Medina that everyone's shared, just because you're big and strong, that don't cut it for us. At your age, Canelo was already pretty much a great fighter. You know, it already was unified at 154. Had fought and beaten a Hall of Famer in Miguel Cotto. So I think Benavidez has to prove himself today to those, or Saturday night, to those Mexican fans, and I think those fans will be won over if he does something worthy of winning them over. So that's my take on that Mexicans for Plant stuff. It's more out of loyalty to Canelo Alvarez, and it's Mexicans also saying, like, you know, you're only half Mexican. You were born in America, not in Mexico, and your dad talks a lot, and you know, you better put up or shut up Saturday night if we're gonna fuck with you and support you going forward. I think Benavidez will deliver and will win a number of them over. He may not, though. This man right here, Caleb Plant, may have all the kryptonite he needs and may show us once again that monsters only exist, you know, in movies, and they get exposed in boxing at some point.
I appreciate all you guys, you know, showing up, supporting, tuning in, and March 25th, we got a big one.
Do you feel like he lives up to the moniker, the Mexican Monster, or, you know, he does and you're just a bigger monster, or he's not really a Mexican monster? What do you think about that name?
That's me clickbaiting people. I already asked all my good questions to Caleb a week or two before this interview on a Zoom. So all that was coming up was like clickbait shit like that. Like, he's the Mexican Monster. Do you think he's the Mexican Monster? I'm being transparent with you guys.
I mean,
them B-tier ass questions.
He can call himself whatever he wants. You know, that ain't got nothing to do with me. So, March 25th, we're going to find out.
And Caleb did not bite.
What would you say is the best weapon, Benavidez's best weapon? Like, what is it that he does best?
So, yeah, man, I can't wait for this fight. To conclude, let's go over those notes one more time. Then maybe I'll play a little Undisputed to get us out of here. Let me see here. So yeah, man, just to conclude again. Plant, be first with the jab, work levels with the jab. Don't just be up top, stab to the body with it like Ward and Mayweather, the guys he studied. Keep the fight in the center of the ring as much as possible. The ropes are hot. Treat the ropes like they're on fire. You reach, I teach, with counterpunching. Benavidez likes to reach in the center of the ring because he's anxious to get his offense going. And so sometimes his feet don't step into range, and he just reaches with his punches. When he does that, Plant can counter him, and, you know, you reach, I teach. For Benavidez, match the jab of Plant. Benavidez isn't going to jab to the body as often as Plant, but he has a terrific jab with power. It can hurt you. It could beat you up over the course of a fight. If he can match the speed and timing of Plant's jab in the center of the ring, he'll win that battle when they both connect, because his jab's heavier. It'll knock Plant back more than the other way around. Be murder on the ropes. Benavidez is one of the best fighters in the world when he gets you on the ropes. Terrific combination puncher, and he'll turn southpaw as he squares up when he gets you on the ropes quite a bit, and he's deadly at that. And then push the pace, make it a fight. Benavidez averages 67 punches a round. Plant averages 46 punches a round. The more closer they are to that number of 67 punches a round rather than 46, Plant's number, the more it benefits whichever side it's leaning more towards. If they're at 50, 52 punches around, that favors Plant. If they're at 60 plus, that favors Benavidez. So push that pace. And then lastly, a couple last notes here. And size, speed, youth, power, Benavidez, IQ, experience, and feet to Plant. Can Plant sharpshoot and make David reset repeatedly and ruin the rhythm of his combinations? And is Benavidez underrated, speed and skills-wise? Is too much just made about he's the big Mexican monster and that this guy is a more skilled practitioner of the sweet science than we think? So that's all I got for you guys on that. I got Benavidez winning this fight by stoppage later on in the fight. I think in the first 3 or 4 rounds, Plant will get his best work done. And Benavidez begins to take off in the middle rounds. That's kind of where he figures you out. That's where his pressure begins to mount, and that's where he starts to really find the offense, and that's where he starts to get you on the ropes with consistency. And he's murder on the ropes. So I see Plant getting off to a good start in this fight, but I do see Benavidez breaking him down and stopping him later in this fight. If Plant wins, it's by being first with the jab. It's by countering in the center of the ring. It's by getting Benavidez's respect in a way Benavidez didn't expect by the pop in Plant's punches. So Plant, if he pulls this off, all credit to the man from Ashland, Tennessee. He's the smaller guy. He's the older guy. He doesn't hit as hard. And the speed is very close. But I actually think David's faster than him as well as being more powerful than him. So if Plant pulls this off, all credit to Plant. But as you guys have probably gathered from these lives, I'm high on Benavidez. I think Benavidez has the potential to bring something boxing always needs. Explosive, potent offensive fighters. And I think Benavidez wins a lot of people over Saturday night. Maybe not. Maybe even if he stops Plant, all people will focus on is how pedestrian Plant makes him look in the early rounds, and they'll go, that guy can't beat Canelo, that guy can't beat Bivol. But I'm optimistic that Benavidez flashes the offense that makes boxing fans fall in love with him, and that wins over Mexican fans who are hesitant to give any loyalty to him because they're loyal to Canelo, who's proven himself. I think Benavidez shows out Saturday night. I think Plant, as always, shows what he's always shown. He's a good fighter. At his best, a very good fighter. But I think Benavidez has a little special sauce, not just good. He's got a little bit of special in him on the offensive side of things. And that'll be the difference in this fight, in addition to his youth, his size. I got Benavidez in this fight. I can't wait to cover it. I'll be there live at the MGM Grand tomorrow alongside my partner Ron Goodall, covering the fight live. I'll be live Thursday at the press conference, live Friday at the weigh-in, live Saturday night with the live round by round in the arena. I can't wait to cover this fight and bring you guys all this coverage. I hope we kill it. Hope we keep you guys satisfied. Raider Reaper, thank you Raider again for the 5. Jesse Bam Rodriguez in boxing. Right, shout out to Bam who fights April 8th. He was the breakout fighter of 2022. Yair Rodriguez in UFC. James Rodriguez soccer. Malcolm Rodriguez NFL, A-Rod in the MLB, and maybe Sergio Rodriguez Suns NBA. Thank you, Raider Reaper, for that, my man. So the Rodriguez holding it down. Brotherhood Sports says you're high on Benavidez high on cocaine. I see what you did there. Good burn. DeAndre C. Good to see DeAndre C. in the chat, man. He said he was at the Plant versus Uzcategui fight, had decent seats. Plant has some underrated power, has some decent pops. I agree. That was his best night, how he looked against Uzcategui. He was tremendous in that fight. Dropped him twice on the left hook, faded a little bit down the stretch, but held on and decisively became a world champion that night. I was at that fight too, in LA, downtown LA. So that was a hell of a performance by that. So could a Rayo loss affect David? I don't think so. Jeremiah, I don't think so. David has only one style to come forward, says Andrew Gonzalez. Yeah, but Julio Cesar Chavez was that way. Manny Pacquiao, the speed and the dynamism of his speed made him more multifaceted than just being some aggressive fighter, and I think Benavidez has some of that. Inoue, you can say that about Inoue. You can say that about Canelo since he moved up to 68. He's just a front foot fighter, but if you're on the front foot and you got mad skills and you punch hard and you're explosive, then you're not just some one-dimensional come-forward fighter. You have more elements to you than someone, no offense, someone like you was trying to say. Just because you fight on the front, skills doesn't mean you're going backwards. It doesn't. You don't have to be a counterpuncher. Canelo's a counterpuncher on the front foot. You don't. Plant isn't necessarily the better boxer than Benavidez because he spends more time on the back foot and he makes you fall short and bop and check. You could be the more skilled fighter on the front foot, and that might be the case with Benavidez in this fight. Might be. I have a feeling the skill's going to be about even, but the youth and the speed and the power and the size of Benavidez is going to be a little bit too much for Plant. Plant's going to need to fight just a perfect fight to win this fight. Not out of question, but we shall see. So, guys, should I close the show with some Undisputed? My man Bernard Hopkins, he used to call Undisputed. Should I close the show with some Undisputed? Canelo has God defense, though, and style. Indeed, he does. One of the best defensive fighters I've seen. He's a great defense, Canelo. Underrated hand speed, too. Very fast. Let me try. I'm trying to get the game set up for everyone. going on here? What chance do I give Callum Smith against Beterbiev? Callum Smith shit the bed against Canelo, man. He just came in with no confidence in that fight. He's better. He's proven since before and after that he's better than what showed up against Canelo, where he fought with no confidence and no ambition. I mean, he just got walked back from pillar to post from the first bell. I give Callum a shot against Beterbiev. Anthony Yard was touching up Beterbiev. Beterbiev's almost 40 years old. Callum Smith, rehydrated at 175 now, is looking better. He has a hell of a left hook. I still favor Beterbiev. But that's actually not a bad fight, Callum Smith and Beterbiev, while Bivol busy with the Canelo rematch. It's not a bad fight. All right, let me get in this Undisputed, and someone wants Fury Usyk. I'll do Fury Usyk since Fury is still the man of the hour. Maybe getting a fight signed with this damn music, man. They trying to kill us. These British rappers trying to get their royalties off us. Nah, man. Off. Confirm. No music. All right. You know how we end these streams, y'all. We'll do Tyson Fury today. Let me run to the bathroom. I'll be right back, chat, and we'll finish the stream with some Undisputed, or as Bernard Hopkins would say, Undisputed. Be right back, chat. Don't y'all go nowhere. I'm just gonna do a quick Undisputed. I'm gonna play Undisputed. All right, I'm back. Back again. Who is it? Dilated. People, baby, in the house again. Ladies and gentlemen, front, left, right, back again. Fight Night Round 3 soundtrack. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Smash that like button, guys. If you're enjoying the content here on FightHype.com, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell for when the notifications go down and blah, 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 fucking blah, 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 fucking blah. All right, let's go. Let's go, chat. What will you say if Benavidez loses Isao Garcia? I'll just give tremendous credit to Plant that he'll have pulled off a fight where he's not the bigger guy, he's not the younger guy, he's not the stronger guy, he doesn't punch as hard, he's been knocked. If Plant pulls this off, I'll just give tremendous credit to Caleb Plant. I'll be a little sad that I had such high hopes for Benavidez since 2016, 2017, when I saw him at 19 years old, and I became enamored with some of his talent, and I thought he could become, a potential Hall of Famer one day. So to keep it real, I'd be a little sad that Benavidez got knocked off and that he couldn't live up to some of my hopes for him. But I just give Plant a hell of a lot of credit for beating a monster, for beating a bigger, younger guy that punches hard, that's fast, that all that shit. Brotherhood Sports, why you snitching, man? Why? Man, we're just waiting for some. Okay, if I can't find a fight at heavyweight, let's try middleweight real quick. Try some Roy Jones. Conor Benn, pound for pound, the greatest. Oswald Barrington. Yeah, just an interesting comment there. You know what was so suspect about Conor Benn is that he took this leap forward as a prospect, and it was because of his explosiveness, which is something you're usually either born with or you're not. It's not like he took a step forward as a prospect because all of a sudden his defense, his skills, his jab just became so otherworldly. It was because the guy was explosive. He was starting to knock dudes out with that combination of power and speed. And it was a little suspect the way that explosiveness all of a sudden developed in his professional career. Usually that's something you either got from the jump or you don't. Okay, let's go on. Let me back out to main menu here for a minute and try again. Let's try this again, chat. Let's try and fight the big Dosa! Oswald is trolling, clearly. Oh, okay, Toby. Yeah, I agree with you, Toby. Trolls are good sometimes. Brotherhood Sports, you got it, man. You know you can come in and mess with me anytime. Love having you guys in the chat. Ooh, Mexican Silverback with Manny Pacquiao versus Conor Benn. Who wins? If Conor Benn's allowed to take his shit against, in his 40s, Manny Pacquiao, Conor Benn all day. I got Conor Benn. If Conor Benn is allowed to... Ah, shit. Yeah. If Conor Benn is, you know... Right now, I'd pick Conor Benn. Plant finna murder David, says Frank Fanatic. Plant is war-tested, man. I don't know, man. He might, but... Get the Dosa! Where are the Dosas? Do I gotta restart the game? Where's all the Dossers? Where's all the shithouse Dossers? The sausages. Alright, let's try welterweight. Let's try welterweight with Sugar Ray Leonard. I might have to reboot the game, chat. If they keep effing with me, not giving me a fight, put me on the shelf, only letting me get 1 or 2 fights a year. Do you think Jermall Charlo should stay at 160 and become undisputed? Oh, cool, we got a fight. Should he move up and chase the big fights at 68? I think Maul should come back to 60 and fight Adames.
WBC Arena, and what an atmosphere
and make sure everything's good.
I'm Todd Grisham. Alongside me, former
Damn,
world
look at this
champion
dude's record,
Johnny
chat.
Wilson.
190 wins, 57 losses.
It's time for
Look at that record, chat.
It's Sugar Ray Leonard.
Look at this record, chat. I gotta fight a really good fighter. Oof. I would have liked some easy work, but nope. We gotta fight.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
We gotta fight one of the top dogs. He's got 57 L's though, guys. Manny said, "I'm juiced too. Bring it on, Ben." Exactly, Brotherhood Sports. Exactly. If that's the case, that's gonna be a hell of a fight. All right, let me take my time, chat. I am red glove, Sugar Ray Leonard.
And his knees buckled that time.
Take my time with this guy because he's good.
Nice exchange here from both men.
Nice little step back counter. Got me to the body there.
Either man really defending themselves.
Ooh, try to counter him up top of the hook. All right. Let me be a little quiet here, chat, because this dude's high level.
This one has all of those big fight feels you want from a prize fight. Here we go.
God, listen to them. Listen to them. You can hear the noise.
Counter with that hook up top.
Stop loud. I'm sorry, man. I'm shouting you in. I'm sorry.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Ah, I just missed with the counter hook. Got him back to the body, though.
Showing exceptional chin.
Oh, they gave him that. That was a late counter. I gotta be smart. Can't just get into these skirmishes and waste my stamina early. Take my time with him.
He gets out of the way of that left hand.
There we go. See? Pick the shots.
Which fighter will say no more. Very competitive round with 10 seconds left.
Close round. I got more counters in. That's what you want. Close round. The man saying, who do I got with Rayo and Colbert?
I dread being a judge.
I'm leaning towards Rayo, even though he's a big underdog. Vegas usually knows what they're talking about, but the power is an X factor there in that fight. I think Rayo's going to get pieced up a lot by Colbert. Colbert, when he's on, is actually very flashy, very skillful, fast, super fast hands. Colbert deserves to be the favorite because, you know, speed and skills pay the bills. But if he's not defensively able to consistently make Rayo miss, that power might be the X factor as the fight goes on. The body shots of Rayo, if he can't hurt Rayo. So, I don't know. We'll see. That's a good fight, though.
Which fighter's going to get clipped first?
All right, I got to win this, y'all. I've never lost on a stream yet. So I might have to be a little quiet.
Power punches are bruising up his body.
Oh, good counter shot by him. I'll get that back. Got it back. Two of them.
Fails to score with that left hook.
There we go. Give him the business to the body now.
Which one of these athletes is going to be the first to get rocked?
Take advantage of his aggressiveness.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. Oh, that left hook hurt him. The left uppercut.
Oh, give me that counter.
Neither one of them want this to go to the judges' scorecard.
Time to switch the stance on him. Tighten those feet up.
And this is that jab. Close round with 10 seconds to go.
There we go. Close round, man. He's making it a fight. He's making it a fight. Red, I'm playing on controller, man.
It's too hard to split. Do you listen to your head or your heart?
King of Kings says, Benavidez not about to box Plant. He's about to beat on him. Okay, I'm out. Plant was able to run circles around Canelo because Canelo's terrible at cutting the ring off. Benavidez is not. Plant will get tired and then he'll get beat on. Toby Matana saying, hopefully the Bevo rematch lights a fire under Canelo to stay motivated and hungry. Brotherhood Sports said Benavidez is bad at cutting the ring off too. He could barely catch up to Durrell. Jesus M. Saludos. Alright. Alright, I'm not fighting great to start this fight.
Oh, that punch. Neither man really defending themselves.
You gotta pull this fight out. Somehow. I've never lost on a stream. Not gonna lose now.
There's no doubt that this fighter's power can change the fight around in an instant. You can't afford to make one single minor mistake.
Todd, we know one of these fighters can knock you out with a simple jab. They're that powerful.
That's another scoring shot. Some nice exchanges from.
You gotta win this chat. Oh shit, good jab by him. See, I gotta shut up. When it's that high level, you gotta lock in and focus. Callum Walsh, I gotta watch Callum Walsh more. I've heard some good things about him from people in boxing, so I gotta watch a little Callum Walsh. Get back to you on that. I've been busy traveling, covering the fights that are coming up, so
Misses with that jab.
haven't had a chance to look at him yet. Well, not that I haven't had a chance, but I just need to look at him. Good counter right hand by Ray.
It seems like aggression has been the key. This fighter just not slowing down.
Look at him trying to spam them little straight shots. That's all right.
You are not fit. If you are not.
This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go.
Getting sloppy. That round got away from me. We had it won. I gotta sharpen up.
This fight could not be any closer, put it Johnny.
So important. The referee's
Jesus M, are you going to David vs. Plant? Indeed I am, brother. I'll be covering that fight. Doing a live round by round there. Oh, good hook.
He misses with that jab.
Trying to pick my shots.
He just misses with that jab. This is certainly an aggressive fighter, but that doesn't always mean success. How many times have you seen a fighter chase a superior athlete around the ring and just get picked apart, even though they were the one pushing the tempo?
I've seen some aggressive fighters. They can terrorize the life out of you before they've even thrown a shot. The strength they have, the speed they have, and that knockout punch, they want to punch through you. They don't want to punch you. They want to punch straight through you. So you've got to be careful.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. Left jab.
Damn it.
Blocks the jab.
Got him.
Hit him with the left jab. You know the scorecards
Little
are
better.
all over the place in this one.
Still got a lot of rounds to work with. Flurried stupid there at the end. Brendan Pierre St. Sean, you're fighting this fight? I know. I got off to it. You know, it's tough, man. He gets to lay back. I gotta play with my whole chat watching me. I'm gonna figure him out. I'll make some adjustments as we go along here. Got greedy. Counter punching's gonna do it. Gotta counter him in the exchanges.
How do they use this fighter's aggression against them?
Sometimes when you have a fight, the best way to beat a fight is not giving up the moment. Because they want to get you there. They want you to stand there.
Counter him in those exchanges.
You have a tail.
He got me.
The gym every single day.
There it is.
What you've got to do is you got to frustrate them as they set their shots. Get out of the way. And they'll get so angry,
there it is.
So frustrated because they can't win.
Oh, almost.
The combination to this sink.
Starting to make him miss more. I didn't need to open up there. There we go. There. Oh, come on! I caught that. That was a hook. Okay, good jab. Shot that to the body. Change my levels. Counter coming. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna counter him. Let's go.
This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go.
Better round. Better round. We started to catch better. Started catching shots a little bit better there. Esau said you should play as Benavidez. I would actually plan. Caleb's in the game once the game comes out. So once the game actually fully comes out, he'll be in that. But Crowley versus Ramos, who you got? I give the edge to Crowley. Younger, fresher, big guy at the weight, but good fight. Ramos could still pull it off. Ramos punches harder than him. And Crowley likes to bang, so that could hurt him against the power of Ramos. But get the edge to Crowley though.
Because they know they've got that power that can strike at any moment.
This could be really intimidating, Todd. If you know
why am I shooting too off when he's out of range? Pick the shot.
Someone can take you out with a simple jab. It can be intimidating. Just depends on how confident you are as a fighter.
Counter right hand. Let's go.
Certainly not going to outthrow their opponent by any means, but they will, when they hit, be a lot harder.
Counter right hand. Counter right hand.
These two were the perfect dance partners. He takes that jab.
Oh, three-piece.
Got out of the way, that right hook. There's a big difference between being the aggressor and the effective aggressor. Which type are we seeing so far?
How would you deal with
pick it up here to finish the round a little bit. Smart.
You either give it back because that's where it's comfortable.
Competitive round with 10 seconds left.
There we go. Good finish to the body. Maybe we won that round. We're still behind. I know we're behind. I'm going to have to finish strong here. I'll get him. Brandon Pierre says better round for show. Let's see the cards. No, I'm down 6-zip on their cards. Shit. We're going to have to pull something out, chat, today. Boom! Counter hook.
And he misses with the left uppercut.
There we go.
Energy and endurance are not an issue for this fighter who continues to be aggressive as the rounds wear on.
Yeah, there's no body work. Stupid right hand from I reached with it. There we go.
Big shots from both these fighters. Got to be careful though. That jab doesn't score.
Reaching with that right hand of the body. Good counter. He smothered me.
This fighter's certainly not going to outthrow.
This round's getting away from me. There we go.
They will, when they hit, be a lot harder.
I've seen certain fighters that can depend on just their power alone. Forget tactics. They know the second they touch you, it's done. That's where the confidence comes from.
Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one.
We can still knock him out later in the fight. Yep. Got him to the body, 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 to the body. We're still in this, chat. We're still in this. Still in this.
At this point, you kind of believe.
Still in this, chat.
Round 8, and we're off again. Oh, and there he caught him with a stiff kick. Stumbling around on Bambi.
He quit. He quit. Woo! Still undefeated, baby. Still undefeated.
I agree. The ref.
We got the Nomashanko. We made him quit.
Great shout. I look forward to fight number 2.
Chat, come on, chat. You guys thought I was finally gonna lose on the stream? Look, down on all the cards, but I get the knockdown in the 7th. And it was the counter punch. I was out countering, but Nomashanko strikes again with the surrender, with the dub. Didn't quit. True champion. Pulled it out. To the winner's cam. To the winner's cam. All right. Let me go ahead and close it out. Man, that was one of the toughest wins we had to get on the stream yet. But we get the TKO. We get the TKO. All right, chat. Thanks for rocking with me. Thanks for bearing through even that last fight where it looked like I was going to lose for about 6 rounds and then pulled it out of my ass somehow. But thank you, everyone, for breaking it down. If you want to get to the important stuff, the serious stuff, go ahead and rewind back. And if you're just tuning in now, then, again, rewind back earlier to the breakdown of Benavidez and Plant. Can't wait to cover this fight throughout the week. And I want to thank everyone for checking in today in the chat, and have a great rest of the week. And keep checking out all the content we'll be bringing here on FightHype, all the interviews, coverage, live press conferences, weigh-ins, and everything. As we look forward to a great fight this Saturday, not just between Benavidez and Plant, but on the undercard of Ramos and Joey Spencer. The other Ramos, Abel Ramos against Cody Crowley, and Rayo Valenzuela against Chris Colbert. So everyone take care and tune in the rest of the week. Thank you, everybody. See you later.